Hello guys, this is Caesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode we will finally go back to the wildcat house in the Elm Hill City Zoo and continue our work on that house. We still have so many cats to add. Today we'll of course be adding the new Amur Leopard from the conservation pack to this house, to the Elm Hill City Zoo, so I am beyond excited because I think that from now on this is my favorite cat and one of my favorite enclosures that will be here in this house. If you guys been following my channel and this series for quite some time, you know that I started this house actually a while ago, and the idea for it is to include as many cats as I will be able to fit in here. There'll be actually 9 of them. We already have 3, so the Amur Leopard is actually a 4th one added here. But I will give you guys more info on that house for the people who recently joined and maybe didn't see the previous episodes where we were adding other cats here later in the video. So, as I told you guys at the very beginning of this video, and you probably know from the thumbnail and the title of this video, today we'll be adding the Amur Leopard to this house. And I actually didn't have this planned because I have totally different plans for this section of the house. I mean, I wanted to add a cheetah in here with slightly different enclosure, I mean different style and different fencing and so on. But of course, when I found out that the Amur Leopard is going to be added to the Planet Zoo with this new DLC, I right away knew that I needed to find a place for it in this house, so I decided to move the cheetah somewhere else. We'll still add it, don't worry guys, but unfortunately one of the cats won't find its spot here in this house, so I had to say goodbye to one of them, and the one that I won't be including is the Bengal tiger, because we already have a Siberian tiger, so there's a tiger in the zoo, we don't need to and we still can include those other cool cat species. So, as I told you guys, I had different plans for this enclosure. I wanted to make it like round, just following the path shape. As you guys can see, this path is sort of round. I did it earlier. And I thought of making like a high fence with an overhang to prevent the animals, the cats, from climbing, from escaping. But I did my research and I found out that almost all the enclosures for the Amur Leopards in zoos have some sort of like netting or mesh or something like that. They are more like cages to prevent the animals from escaping. The Amur Leopards are very arboreal, they love to climb, they're perfect at climbing, and I even found an article on the internet, like it was in the news some time ago, that the Amur Leopard escaped from one of the zoos in America. I'm not sure which one was that, because they are actually escape like artists, they can climb pretty well and they can, you know, easily escape. So I thought that we need to be realistic. We are always trying to be realistic while building in Planet Zoo. That's why I decided to include some sort of, you know, roof, like mesh, something like that. So I knew that I need to build a cage for those guys. I initially thought that this thing is called an aviary, but I found out that the aviary is only for flying things like birds and stuff. But for other like creatures and animals like big cats, it is an cage. So we are building a cage right now. In fact, we are almost finished with it, as you guys can see. I actually tried to, you know, make it more round, like following the path, but it was so incredibly like impossible to do when it comes to the roofing, like the upper parts, because, you know, those mesh pieces come only in square and rectangular shapes, so it's really hard to do something curved and make them look like clean, like really neat. So I like ditched this idea completely because I didn't want to make it look messy, and I decided to go for something more like straight, like rectangular, square or something. So I came up with this shape of it. The upper part is still slightly like tilted because I want wanted to mimic the shape of those like windows in the roof that we have in this building. You can see them in the back. So I wanted to mimic that a bit, like to be cohesive with the shapes of the building and stuff like that. I also added some glass pieces in the area where the guests will go like a bit down from the path to go and see the leopards. I actually was able to finally use the new modular glass pieces. They are like very thin, so it is so like useful. Finally we have thin glass pieces because the previous ones were a bit thick. So in, for example, using them in builds like that, I would have to do, you know, the beams a bit, you know, wider to make them, you know, fit inside of those beams. But here it was like very quick and easy, and I really like it. You will see me like continuing the work on this viewing gallery later in the video, and it will be very, very nice. You also could see me adding a custom gate to this cage. I mean, it is for sure not usable by the staff. The actual habitat gate will be in the inside part of the habitat, because this habitat, as all the habitats in this house, will have an inside part and the outside part. This is just for the looks, for it looking more like you know, realistic, because the keepers will have to, you know, be able to go in there for the maintenance, for cleaning and stuff like that. So I really wanted to add a gate in there. A lot of Amur Leopard enclosures in zoos have those really beautiful rock formations, so I really wanted to give them something like that as well. I used the rock formation that we already created in the Siberian tiger enclosure, so if you want to see how I did it, definitely go and check out this video. I will put the link down in the description and on the screen, so if you would like to see it, definitely go and check it out. But because of the leopards being so arboreal, like they love to climb, they in their natural habitat, I am sure that they spend a lot of time on the trees, but also on some rock formations and stuff like that. I wanted to build for them some rock shelves and rock formations that they could actually use, you know, to climb on them and stuff like that. And I wanted to make this habitat a bit more like vertical, if it makes any sense. But as you guys know, the traversable area of the animals in Planet Zoo is a bit wonky sometimes. So I really had to make sure that those will be wide enough, maybe wider that I would want them to be. Sometimes I saw that they have like those very narrow shelves and they still can use them, can sleep in there and stuff like that. But obviously I couldn't do that. Like I could, but it would be only for the looks. But I really wanted the leopards to be able to use that. So for this, I decided to blend the temperate rocks with this fake rock formation, and I really like this, like, you know, mixture of fake and real rocks. The temperate rocks are definitely my favorite. I love their texture. They are really beautiful and really realistic, because after time, you know, there will be some moss or something growing on those rocks. So I really love them. Of course, I had to put in some logs and some of my custom dead trees for them to help them climb on those rock structures, but in the end they can use all of them. They are going there, up there, they are using those shelves, so I am very happy because it actually took some time to, you know, adjust this habitat for them to be usable, but in the end I am very happy. And actually I am recording this video at the day that new like small update was released for Planet Zoo, and from now on the animals should use the climbing frames and be swimming more often. So I am very hopeful that those Amur leopards will be using their climbing frames more often. We'll see that in the cinematic shots. I hope that we'll be able to catch some of them, you know, climbing and doing their stuff on the logs and on those rock formations. That would be amazing to see. So in the next part of the video, you will see me adding like foliage, some trees to this outside part of the habitat, also some climbing platforms for them to use. I also saw that a lot in different habitats that they have, you know, different platforms that they can sleep on. That's why I added there some bedding, and also I'll add, of course, a lot of details to this habitat. I mean, a lot of rocks, small rocks, and a lot of small foliage, nothing too crazy, because I still wanted to give them more, like a lot of space to use this cage outside. And also something that I will do is add the path inside of this habitat. I really love using the tree bark path, because I think that the tree bark is something that is frequently used in the habitats in real life zoos, so I really like the look of it. I got some questions when I recently did that in one of my habitats, I don't remember which one, how I am able to do that, and you are all able to do that. This is not a mod or not any sort of magic or anything. Just as you are able to do the walkthrough habitats, you are able to add the paths inside of the habitats. So just go and try it and you'll see that you are able to do it just so. Okay, so while I'll be doing all those things that I just told you guys about, let me talk about some different things. So let me begin with welcoming all the new people here who subscribe to the channel. It's so nice to see so many new faces in here. So hello guys, I really hope that you will enjoy my content, and I am so happy to have you here. And if by any chance you are watching and you are still not subscribed to my channel, please consider to do so. With that being said, I just wanted to tell you guys that we are so close to 10,000 subscribers, which is just beyond crazy. You guys are just incredible, and I am beyond like mind blown how fast this channel is growing, so thank you guys. So, because of that, we should probably start thinking about how we're gonna celebrate this amazing milestone of 10,000 subscribers, because for sure I want to do something special for it. I of course have some ideas. I think I will do like a poll for you guys to decide what you like to see. But my initial ideas are, firstly, the rebuild of the first ever enclosure that I uploaded to the channel. That was the gray seal enclosure, and let me just tell you guys that this enclosure is bad. It looks really bad, but it was my first. And maybe it will be cool to, you know, do the recreation of the first ever enclosure to show you guys how much I learned over this time that I had my channel. So this could be cool. The second thing is like a traditional Q&A. So you ask me questions and I record a video where I answer those questions. This could be cool if you would like to meet me a bit more. If you have any questions about Planet Zoo, about building, about other games, and about me, we could do something like that as well. My third idea is to do sort of like a tutorial for you guys, because I had so many questions on tutorials, and I thought about making like a realistic scenery, foliage, rocks style, something like this tutorial. So if you like to see it also, you could vote for that. And also the fourth idea, what was the fourth idea? Oh, I know, the fourth idea is that it was my first one, and I actually think it is the worst one right now. It was to build a giraffe enclosure in the Elm Hill City Zoo, because, you know, my logo is the giraffe and I still haven't got the chance to build for those guys, and I really want to do it. So maybe 10,000 subscribers is a perfect opportunity to do so. So when we'll be closer to 10,000, I'll probably do the poll here on the community tab on YouTube for you to decide what you'd like to see, and I hope you like those ideas. Okay, so that was the first thing that I wanted to tell you guys about, and the second thing is to talk about the recent build, the Oryx enclosure, and thank you guys for an amazing response to that video. I am especially so grateful to all the people from Berlin and who were recently in the zoo, in the Berlin Zoo, like telling me that they recognized the building right away, that this is a perfect like recreation. So thank you guys, this really means a world that you actually recognized it and you know which building I was going for. And of course, big thank you to everyone who commented, who liked this video, and who just, you know, enjoyed it, because the response was so amazing. And also a response to my personal story with my grandpa. So many people related to that story, so this was so amazing, and you guys actually told me that you like to hear more of those personal stories from me to know me better. So whenever I will have a story that will fit into my video, I will try to tell you guys something. I don't have anything connected to the Amur Leopard, unfortunately, so no personal story this time, but I will try to, give you guys some of those in the future in some other videos. By the way, you can see me adding the decals right now to this habitat, like to blend the path and the foliage and the rocks together, to make it look a bit, dirty, to make it look a bit more like, worn out or something, but I think that they made like such a huge difference. I just love how the habitat is looking with all the decals, so also it helped to blend the path when it was like ending in several places. So I just love that those decals were added to Planet Zoo. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to tell you guys, because I get so many questions on that, is that the Desert Adventure Park is making its way back to your screens, to your computers, to your TVs, to your phones, and wherever you are watching those videos on. Yes, the next episode will be out very soon. Actually, this will be my next Planet Zoo video. I already know what animal I'll be building for. I am like preparing myself to start to build for it. So if you are waiting for the next episode from that zoo, we haven't built in that zoo for so long, and I am actually really excited to go back to it. What you can see on the screen right now is me building like a shading structure for the viewing gallery. So we'll have like a roof from the wooden and metal pieces combined. I really like this. I found something similar on Pinterest in some other zoo. I don't remember what it is. I cannot find this, pin anymore. So you have to believe me that it is based on something from a zoo somewhere. But it looks really cool. For the roofing, I actually used the gutter pieces from the conservation pack. I made my own custom roof. Look at me, guys. I am creating my own custom roofs. Like, who could believe I could do that? I am always using some pieces like that are meant to be roofs or the plaster pieces, but here I created my own, I think for the first time or for the second time or something like that, but I need to do this more often. And for this, I'll be also using those new wooden pieces from the conservation pack, and in the end, I love how this viewing gallery is looking. So after finishing this viewing gallery, I will actually add like those fences that we used around this house earlier, so I'll just copy it over. I won't show you adding them everywhere because it was a lot of adjusting, a lot of work. And after that, I will do like planting around the fences and around the cage on one side, because you guys often ask me to show you how I do those, empty places in your zoo, how I fill those with foliage, with rocks, and, just make them nice. So today you'll have a chance to see that. And after being done, we'll move on to the inside part of this habitat. And I think it is a perfect time to tell you more about this house and about the Elm Hill City Zoo in general for all the new people who recently joined and maybe didn't hear that earlier or have no idea what we are doing here. So my general idea for the Elm Hill City Zoo is that it is like a old city zoo located somewhere in Europe, like I think in Central Europe or like Germany, Poland, something like that. It is very large. It is like located probably in a capital city. It is very popular with tourists and with local citizens. That's why it has a lot of money, because it is a huge tourist attraction, so the government is investing in that zoo to bring more tourists in the city and in the zoo. So that's why we have like a mixture of the older architecture in here and some modern parts, because some buildings have been here for quite some time. They could be used before for some other animals and now are repurposed for some other animals. And some are completely new because they have been built recently, just like, for example, our wetlands house. So that's why the zoo is probably not a perfect example of being, cohesive with its style of building and habitats, because those habitats and buildings were built over time. Some of them are older, some of them are very modern, and this is my idea for this zoo. Like, if you will go to a regular city zoo in Europe, in some, older cities, where there are older zoos, you will see something like that. Like exactly something like that. Some of the habitats are old and some of them were built recently, so they are more modern, and this is what I went for. When it comes to our wildcat house, my initial idea was to build just a big cat section for this zoo, but you guys seem to enjoy those houses so much. Like when I've built, for example, the small cat house or the rhino and elephant house, those videos were some of the best on my channel. They were very popular and also, liked a lot. And also I got some questions when you will build, for example, a new house. That's why I decided to look for an inspiration in, Europe or just around the world for a very big, building in some of the zoos. And I stumbled upon the Alfred Brehm house in a Tier Park, Berlin, and I decided to recreate that, but use it only for the big cats. In this zoo, it is used for different tropical animals, but here we are only using it for the cats. All the cats, almost all of them, will have like an indoor and outdoor enclosures. So we already added the snow leopard, we added the cougar, we added the Siberian tiger, and right now we are adding the Amur Leopard. And I decided to, locate them based on the biome that they are from. So we are starting with those more like colder climates, and we are moving slowly into more like savanna, tropical, and stuff like that. So in the future episodes, you can actually expect something more exotic than the animals that we built for. The Amur Leopard actually fitted here like perfectly. This is near the Siberian tiger, and they come from like very similar climates, so it is a perfect fit for it in that spot. So yeah, this is the idea for this building. I will add 9 of the cats. We already have 4 right now, so we are almost like half done. Of course, when I'll be finished, I will do like a tour of this building. I will show you all the habitats and the backstage areas and stuff like that. Also, I had so many questions about the update tour of the entire zoo. It will also be here on the channel right after we'll finish that building. I am so hopeful that we'll be able to do that before the new DLC for Planet Zoo comes out, because it always messes up my plans completely. But I am so hopeful that we'll be able to finish this house before it will be released. So I will be able to do the tour of the house and the tour, like an update tour of the entire Elm Hill City Zoo. Okay, so I think that this is all when it comes to all the news and updates that I wanted to tell you guys today. Let's focus on actual builds, what we are doing now. As you guys can see, we are now working on the inside part of this habitat. So as you guys can see, like the whole building and the viewing, like a glass barrier in here was already done. I just copied it over and adjusted it a bit from the cougar habitat. If you like to see how I've built all those things, you can go to my snow leopard habitat, because this is the first habitat in here, and we did most of those, architectural things in here in that video. So I will also put the link down in the description and on the screen right now. So inside here, I also wanted to give those guys some rock shelves to use to sleep on, so I did just that, and they are also able to use them, so I am very happy with it. This sound was me hitting the microphone with my hand, because I am very like hand talking person, so sorry about that. So in this inside part, I didn't want to add too many like plants and foliage. I wanted to make it look very like rocky, like mountainy, so there will be a lot of small rocks, a lot of rocks in general, some logs for them to climb, and like a bamboo plant or stuff like that, but nothing too crazy. In the end, I love how it has turned out. Probably my favorite of all of those indoor habitats. Maybe the Siberian tiger is slightly better, but still I love that. Initially I thought about adding 2 backstage areas for them, but then I decided that one is completely enough. They have 2 like stalls or small cages in there for them to be separated. We only have 2 Amur Leopards in here, and on the other side I decided to locate some stuff buildings, because you can never have like too many of them. They are always useful for the stuff, so I added them in here. I won't show you guys making the backstage because I tend to skip those parts. There's a lot of like rapid camera movements and stuff, so I prefer not to add it to the video, but I'll show you guys the whole area, like backstage area, on the cinematics by the end of this video. This is nothing like too difficult to build, so I am sure that if you like to recreate that, you'll be able to do that without no problems. Okay, so the video is almost over and I still didn't have a chance to talk with you guys about the Amur Leopards. Let me just tell you that I am so happy that they were added, and I think that still the model has some issues. All the models of the cats in this game have some issues. I mean, they are too like fluffy, too cartoony, but I still think that this is my favorite of all the cats. I mean, of the models. The pattern of it is just beautiful and crazy. I love it. And let me give you guys some fun facts about this animal. So the Amur Leopard have long bushy tails with an average length of just under 3 feet. In the winter, the Amur Leopards will use their tail to keep warm, wrapping it around themselves like a blanket. Amur Leopards are excellent swimmers. They are one of the few cat species that love being in the water. They are really fast. They can run speeds up to 37 miles per hour. They are also excellent climbers and will carry their prey up the trees to consume it away from potential scavengers. They are very solitary animals. They can have territories between 19 to 116 square miles, that is up to 56,000 football fields. Unfortunately, it is listed as critically endangered on the IUCN Red List, as in 2007 only 19 to 26 wild leopards were estimated to survive in Russia and China, and it is considered one of the rarest cats on Earth. From this time, the population has doubled thanks to the conservation efforts, but still the population is really low. So you guys see why the conservation efforts are so important to help those endangered animals to survive. There are around 200 of them living in zoos worldwide, and those are the animals that help to save this species with a captive breeding programs. Okay guys, so unfortunately I don't have any more time for those fun facts because this video is coming to an end. At the end of this video you'll see me adding some decals to the cage to make them look like some leaves have fallen on it, or it is just dirty or something to add a touch of realism to the cage. If you liked this video, please consider to subscribe to my channel, give it a big thumbs up down below if you enjoyed it, and of course ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. Also comment down below if you liked it and tell me what you like to see as the celebration of 10,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!